What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to the Stay Locked In podcast. If you somehow stumbled upon this video, go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, and notification button down below for more content. I got a crazy goal of about 10,000 subscribers. If you can help me manifest my goal into a reality, I would really appreciate it. With that being said, let's go ahead, let's get right into this video. Let's go ahead and lock the in. Alright? So boom. Alright, let's get right into this video. Will Smith finally steps outside and responds to his actions at the infamous Oscar slap, and reaches out to Chris Rock. Let's get right into it.
Why didn't you apologize to Chris in your acceptance speech? I was fogged out by that point. It's all fuzzy. I've reached out to Chris, and the message that came back is that he's not ready to talk, and when he is, he will reach out. So I
hold on real quick. Listen, man, I'm sorry, I'm not buying that, Will. You was fogged out. Listen, man, but you was cognizant enough to realize what you have done, so much so that you was crying during your acceptance speech and apologized to everyone else except Chris Rock in the moment where we're talking about. That sounds like an excuse to me. But I mean, he is issuing an apology right now. So let's continue with the video.
Well, I will say to you, Chris, I apologize to you. My behavior was.
Sorry to pause the video, but I just seen his hand shaking. He looked a little nervous. He's looking a little nervous out here. But like I just said, now he's publicly issuing an apology. So I think that's dope, man. Shout out to Will for this. Let's continue with the video.
Unacceptable. And I'm here whenever you're ready to talk. I want to apologize to Chris's mother. I saw an interview that Chris's mother did. And that was one of the things about that moment. I just didn't realize, and I wasn't thinking, but how many people got hurt in that moment. So I want to apologize to Chris's mother. I want to apologize to Chris's family, specifically Tony Rock. We had a great relationship. Tony Rock was my man. And this is probably irreparable.
That's what's up, man. Shout out to Will. Seems like he's taking accountability for what he's done. I mean, it took him 3 months, but nonetheless, I think this is a first step into him healing and him at least trying to mend the relationship between him and Chris Rock and his family. He's apologizing not only to Chris Rock but his entire family. I think that's super dope. It takes a hell of a man to do that, man. To admit that you're wrong and actually go ahead and publicly apologize. I mean, it took him 3 months, but nonetheless, he's doing it. Let's get right back into this.
I spent the last 3 months replaying and understanding the nuances and the complexities of what happened in that moment. And I'm not going to try to unpack all of that right now, But I can say to all of you, there is no part of me that thinks that was the right way to behave in that moment. There's no part of me that thinks that's the optimal way to handle a feeling of disrespect or insults. After Jada rolled her eyes, did she tell you to do something? No. It's like, I made a choice on my own, from my own experiences, from my history with Chris, Jada.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap. Get the fuck out. Listen, man. I'm glad that he's doing this. Shout out to Will for doing this, but for him to say that, did Jada tell? I mean, of course, he's not going to go ahead and outwardly admit that that's his wife. He's got to defend and protect his wife at all times. But we all seen it. We all knew what the hell happened. He was laughing originally, and he looked over to Jada, and Jada had a look of disgust on her face, and he reacted the way that he did. We all seen what happened. So, listen, Jada has to have some type of accountability in this, but I think it's 90% Will. Let's just start there. It's 90% Will. You didn't have to get up and do what you did. But Jada did have a small part in that. So let's at least acknowledge that. I know he can't technically acknowledge it, but we all know what was up. Let's get right back into what he's talking about.
It had nothing to do with it. I'm sorry, babe. And say sorry to my kids and my family for the heat that I brought on all of us. To all my fellow nominees, this is a community. It's like I won because you voted for me, and it really breaks my heart to have stolen and tarnished your moment. I can still see Questlove's eyes. It happened on Questlove's award, and it's like I'm sorry really isn't sufficient. What would you say to the people who looked up to you before the slap, or people who expressed that you let them down? So there's two things. One, disappointing people is my central trauma. I hate when I let people down. So it hurts. It hurts me psychologically and emotionally to know I didn't live up to people's image and impression of me. And the work I'm trying to do is I am deeply remorseful, and I'm trying to be remorseful without being ashamed of myself, right? I'm human, and I made a mistake, and I'm trying not to think of myself as a piece of shit. So I would say to those people, I know it was confusing. I know it was shocking. But I promise you, I am deeply devoted and committed to putting light and love and joy into the world. And, if you hang on, I promise we'll be able to be friends again.
All right, let's get into what he just said. I mean, there was a lot said. Let's unpack it a little bit. I think Will cares maybe a little bit too much about what other people think. You know, I know he's an actor and he's a public figure, but at some point you have to dismiss some of the things that people are gonna say. You know, it's, you know, we all heard the term, the internet never loses, man. Somebody's always gonna have something to say. What really matters is him and his wife and his family's relationship at the end of the day. So I understand that he feels a certain type of way about, you know, letting people down, but I think what he should be focused on is him and Chris's relationship. Somebody that he's been close to over the years and has a history with. That's what's most important. And I think, you know, caring too much about what people think and say will result in you exploding the way that he did. You know what I mean? This damn bird is this bird is killing me. But listen, man, shout out to Will, man. I think this is a good and the first step to, you know, him at least regaining the public opinion's favor, if you will. And I think this is the first step in him mending the relationship between him, Chris, Tony Rock, and the Rock family. So shout out to Will, man. This takes a big man to do this, a big person to do this. Admit your faults, take complete and full accountability, not blame anybody or drag anybody else into this. So, and especially not someone that's a loved one, such as Jada. So, yeah, man, I mean, this is big of him. Shout out to Will, man. He's making the necessary steps. He did an action publicly, and it was extremely important for him to try to mend it and publicly apologize. So I think this is dope of him to do this. I'm still a Will Smith fan, bro. Real talk. So shout out to Will. He's a great actor, but listen, man, this is a lesson for everybody out there. Some things are just better left private. Some things are just better left private. We don't need to know every single detail in your life, Will, for us to appreciate you as an actor and a human being, or for people to look up to you. And I think he's in a very vulnerable state as far as him actually going out there and just being an open book and letting people into his personal life. And that comes with consequences, you know what I mean? And, you know, it definitely has its repercussions when you are an open book. Yo, this bird. This shit is crazy. But that's it, man. That's the video. Shout out to Will. Shout out to you guys. Thank you for commenting, appreciate, you know, engaging and watching my videos. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. You guys get down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. And I hope everybody out there stays focused, stays prosperous, and stays locked in.